Hey, in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 simple ways to begin the healing process. Now, these are really simple to actually do, but any sort of lifestyle change can always be challenging for the individual that's doing it. But this is really what's going to get the ball rolling in your healing journey. And so I always say these are the what I call the low-hanging fruit. So if you have an apple tree and you want to get as many apples as possible, in the beginning, you're just going to get the ones that are low, right? Because they take minimal effort. Right? You don't have to get on a ladder, you don't have to climb the tree to get them. They're already hanging down, so you can just pull them off and start eating them. And this is really the best way to start if you're dealing with a chronic inflammatory condition, if you're dealing with autoimmunity or whatever health challenge that you're struggling with, start here with the low-hanging fruit. Number 1 is reduce stress and practice gratitude. So whatever your stressors are in life, do your best to try to minimize them. Now, you're always going to be exposed to stress. You can't get rid of stress. And if your only priority is reducing stress, you're not actually going to help change your healing cycle and your inflammatory process. You're going to be so obsessed with removing as much stress as possible. So instead, start practicing gratitude, because gratitude will actually help you deal with the stressors you're dealing with. The more that you practice gratitude, the more it will be easier for you to continue to practice. It's a new language that you're learning. So every day you start your day by being thankful, asking yourself, what am I thankful for today? I'm thankful that I have got 5 fingers on my hand. I'm thankful that I can use my arms. I'm thankful that I'm not a quadriplegic. I'm thankful that I have got energy to go and do some things today, right? And so you're grateful for whatever it is and start focusing on gratitude and let that be the main language that comes out of you all throughout the day. Now, there may be moments where you're a little frustrated, right? And you might complain. Nobody's perfect, but the more that you can have gratitude, thankfulness, be what drips out of you, right? You know, they say, what comes out of an orange when you squeeze it? Orange juice, right? Well, what comes out of you when you're squeezed? Ideally, it should be gratitude. It should be thankfulness, okay? It should be humility, not victim mindset, not frustration, anger, okay? All of those things, we want to do our best to reduce them and practice gratitude. And that's going to really help your physiology begin the healing process. So that's number 1. Number 2, nutrient-dense diet. And so most people are eating lots of bad foods, right? Lots of ultra-processed foods that drive up inflammation in the body. And so I recommend getting rid of the ultra-processed foods, getting rid of bad fats, all your seed oils, corn oil, soybean, safflower, cottonseed, peanut oil, trans fats, getting rid of all of that and focusing on, healthy, organic, as much as possible to reduce toxins. So wherever possible, trying to go organic and getting fresh fruits and vegetables, good, high quality, grass-fed, organic animal products if possible, right? And consuming those foods, healthy fats like avocados, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, consuming those foods, consuming a very nutrient-dense diet, and also consider any food that you just don't feel good with. Maybe it's an avocado, right? Maybe avocados, when you eat them, you get a skin reaction, or you feel more inflamed, or you have brain fog. Well, I love avocados. I think they're a great food, but if your body's not responding well to them, stop eating them. Anything that you notice your body not responding well to, you can always do an isolation test, right? If it's broccoli, okay, if it's steamed broccoli, you just don't feel good when you're eating it, you could just try eating it alone. If it's still triggering you and you're not feeling good, then stop eating it, right? Even if it's a steak, if it's grass-fed steak, if you don't feel good eating it, you're not producing enough stomach acid, don't eat it for a period of time while you're going through the healing process. Any sort of food, even if it's a healthy food, that you just don't feel good when you eat, stop eating it for a period of time, a few weeks, while your body is undergoing the healing process, and then reintroduce it. See how your body responds. So nutrient-dense diet. Number 3, prioritize good sleep. Really try to focus on proper light exposure, getting really good light exposure early in the day. And then once the sun sets, making sure all the blue light is off, making sure that you've got amber light bulbs, kind of like almost like it looks like a fire in a sense, an orange colored light bulb. You've got blue light blocking glasses on. Go to bed at a good time, ideally before 10, especially if you're really trying to trigger a good healing process. Try to be in bed early, right? Make sure your room is as completely dark as possible. Wear an eye mask at night while you're sleeping. And do your best to just create an environment, a sanctuary for sleep, making sure your room is cool, making sure maybe if there's an overhead fan that oftentimes can help, okay? Making sure also that you're doing nasal breathing, and you can just start by putting a piece of tape over your mouth to help your body, your physiology, start breathing through your nose. When you breathe through your nose, we know that you get a lot more oxygen flow into your brain. Okay, we get an increase in nasal nitric oxide, which opens up the capillary beds, brings more oxygen, nutrients to the brain. So that's key. And if trying to sleep with a piece of tape on is too hard after a few days, you might have sleep apnea. Okay, and you might need to go in for a sleep study and get that addressed. So, but really do your best to prioritize good sleep, so important. Number 4, reduce toxin exposure. We talked about going organic with the food that we're consuming. As much as possible, when you go organic, you're reducing the amount of chemicals, pesticides, herbicides that are going in your body, and that's gonna help reduce the overall toxin load. If you're in a moldy home, or just, if you're in a home, I mean, just getting an air purifier can help, or leaving the door open a little bit, your windows open or something like that, getting some of the chemicals or mold out into the air where it can be diluted, that's key. So bringing more of the indoor air in, that can be really helpful. Making sure you change out your laundry supplies, your personal hygiene products, trying to go as organic and natural as possible, and reducing the amount of chemicals that you're being exposed to is gonna make a big difference for your health. And then number 5, getting sunshine on a daily basis, okay? Getting out in the sun on a daily basis. You don't wanna get sunburnt, but you wanna get sun in as much of your body as possible, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, trying to get as much good quality sun as possible without having any sort of sunburn. Getting in nature. It could be when you go out and get in the sun. You could just walk on your front lawn, right? You could take a walk around your block. You could go on a hike and go in the woods where you're around trees that are releasing all these healthy essential oils. And they have, nature itself has this healthy electromagnetic frequency that calms our nervous system and relaxes us. And, along with that, getting movement in. Movement helps stimulate something called myokines. When we have muscle contractions, those myokines have an anti-inflammatory effect. They help drive up positive proteins in our brain, things called brain-derived neurotropic factor, for example, which is like Miracle-Gro for your brain and helps enhance your brain. Movement also, on top of that, helps with lymphatic drainage to help us detoxify. It helps improve overall oxygenation of the different cells of our body. So there's so many great benefits to getting movement. So even if it's something as simple as just going for a walk, right? And if you can do that walk in nature, even better. So that way you're coupling those things and also getting some sun exposure, ideally as well. So these are the low-hanging fruit. There's a lot of other things we could talk about. We could talk about a number of things. We could talk about nutrition principles, supplements. We could talk about detox strategies. But this is where a great place to start. This is kind of the prerequisites that we can then add to, right, as we go on to enhance the healing process. But let's master these 5 things first, and then we could take it to the next level after that. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my channel, browse the various videos that I've done on similar topics, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. That way you get notified whenever I put up a new video training. Thanks so much for being a part of our community here, and I really hope you enjoy the videos that we're putting out on a regular basis. Be blessed.